So did you ever experience the following symptoms? Your heart goes really fast, you start sweating and your vision becomes really blurry. You can start like breathing very heavily, or you start hyperventilating, and you have the feeling that you go crazy. What might have happened is that you experienced a panic attack. I remember when I had my first panic attack, it was around when I was 16, I think, and I really thought that I was dying, because your heart goes really fast in combination with the chest pains. So I was like, yeah, I'm having a heart attack, I'm going to die in this moment. But luckily it was only a panic attack. It still sucked really bad. The last time I had a panic attack, I think it was 6 years ago, so that's a long time ago already, for me at least, I think. I wanted to share a few of the tips or the things that really helped me get through it or get over it, or when I might experience a panic attack in the future, that really helps me to deal with it. I hope it also helps you dealing with those panic attacks. Okay, my first tip is that it's really important that you start recognizing what is going on. And like I said in the intro, for the very first time, that's the most scariest panic attack for me, at least, because I had no clue what was happening and I misinterpreted the signals. So I thought I was actually dying in the moment. When I read a lot about it on the internet, I read a lot of books about it. I also learned a lot about panic attacks when I studied psychology, and it really helped me get into the why it is happening and what is going on in the body at that moment. And for me, that took away a lot of the fear for getting another panic attack. I think it's really important to learn about what is happening at that moment in your body, and that you try to learn how you can interpret the signals that are happening. So when you know, okay, I'm not going to die, but this is a panic attack, some part of the fear might be lower or better to deal with, or more bearable, than when you actually still are convinced that this is it and that you are going to die. So what is happening is that your body is in a fight or flight state in that moment, and it can be triggered by a lot of different factors. So it can be that you are really stressed in that period of time, or you drank a lot of coffee. But also what is very common with having a panic attack is that it's not really preceded by a specific trigger. So some people wake up in the middle of the night having a panic attack, which makes it even more scarier, because then you have no idea what is going on and there's no obvious cause, so it doesn't make sense. But for some reason your body thinks it's in a fight or flight state, so it's preparing to fight or to run away. And what it does then is that it produces adrenaline, it produces noradrenaline, so it prepares you to undertake action. So that's why the muscles in your body also tighten, also in the chest area, for example, but also in the rest of the body. That's why the breathing becomes very fast or more heavily. Your pupils can dilate, and the levels of carbon dioxide in your blood can decrease, which makes you feel like a little bit more dizzy or more faint. So those are all processes that your body is starting to help you prepare to start a fight. There is some kind of mismatch going on at that moment in the body. It thinks it's in danger, but it's not in danger. So it's preparing for action while that's not necessary. So when we learn that the body is doing that to help you, actually, and it's not because you're dying in the moment, it might help you deal with it a little bit better, I hope. At least that's the thing that helped me the most, like to really learn and understand what is going on at that moment. And the second tip is that you shouldn't try to push it away when it's happening. And I know that sounds really counterintuitive. I know that it sounded very counterintuitive to me when I heard it for the first time. But I think it's really important in that when we try to get rid of it, so we feel like we're having a panic attack, or we feel it like coming up a little bit, very often we try to make it stop or make it go away, or we have to fight it in a certain way because of course we don't want to experience what is happening at that moment. But I think it adds to the anxiety you're feeling. You are trying to fight what is happening. And I think when you try to ride the wave a little bit, go with it and don't really try to resist it that hard, that it becomes not as full-blown as it otherwise might be. At least, yeah, that is something that helps for me. It doesn't mean that it gets better itself, the panic attack, but I at least don't have to fight it, which helps. So I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to prepare myself for fighting it, because when I am having a panic attack, I also know that it's happening. And when I kind of go with it, it becomes a little bit more bearable also. So I know it's a very counterintuitive tip maybe, but yeah, for me it helps. So try to kind of go with it instead of resisting what is happening, which is really hard. I know it's really difficult, but yeah, it helps, I think, just a little bit. And the third thing that also helped me is that I heard that from when I was in therapy, when I was, I think, 16 also. And she also explained me a lot about what was going on then when you experience a panic attack. And that she also said that the feeling always has to go down. So your body is preparing for this form of action and it wants to fight or run or do something, but your body also wants to go back to a certain baseline again. So it's not possible to feel that way, for example, for 24 hours. I do heard of some people that experienced a panic attack up to an hour. But after a while, your body has to kind of recover again or go back to that baseline, because your body can't be in that state of fight or flight for like the whole time. So that's a thing that you can remember. Okay, this feeling is here and now, but it has to subside again. It has to go down. It has to be better eventually. So remember, it's not a permanent state of being. Okay, and the fourth tip is that that's more of a thing you can do instead of think. And this is also something that I talked about in one of the previous videos about what you can do also to manage your anxiety, and that is a exercise to make you feel more grounded. I notice when I'm very high in my anxiety levels, or when I notice that I might be experiencing a panic attack during the day, or I'm just very stressed, I notice that I'm very internally focused. So I'm really in my head. I can be really having all of these anxious thoughts. I can be really focused on everything that's going on, like physically. I can also remember that when I had those panic attacks when I was younger, I would put extra focus onto every sensation that I felt in my body, because I was afraid of having that attack again. So I could feel like something near my heart region. I was like, oh no, that's not okay, that's not good. But it made me focus on everything that was going on, which made my body really tense, also really tighten up, which made that I really had like painful sensations going on in my body. And it kind of confirmed my hypothesis at the time that something was going on. So my tip is in this situation to do this little exercise or grounding exercise to help you get out of your head and out of the focus on the body and everything that is going on, and into the surroundings, into where you are at the moment. It's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. And what you do is that you try to name 5 things you can see in your surroundings. And then you go on to 4 things you can feel. And that's a little bit more difficult already, but that's also a good thing because you really have to focus on that sensation. And then 3 things you can hear, and then 2 things you can smell. And then the last thing is something you can taste. This is a really nice grounding exercise that helps you get out of your head into the here and now, really into your surroundings. It makes you focus a little bit less on what is going on in the body, in your head. Okay, and the 5th tip is a tip that I still wanted to discuss, but it's a very popular tip, and it's that you can do breathing exercises. But I found it a little bit difficult because for me, I can remember that when I'm having a full-blown panic attack, if someone then tells me that I just have to breathe really slowly or I have to do some kind of breathing exercise, I'm like, okay, that's not helping because I'm having a panic attack, so I'm really freaking out and I think I'm going crazy. I don't know what to do. I'm hyperventilating. So yeah, like the exercise to really breathe really slowly when I'm having a full-blown panic attack, it's not helpful. But I do notice that it's helpful when I notice that I'm really having high anxiety levels. Then it might be helpful to already calm down the nervous system a little bit, and then I think it's really helpful to do a breathing exercise. But I think it's different for everyone, I think. So yeah, a breathing exercise is always good to try at least. And one of my favorite breathing exercises is the square method, or the box method, I think they also call it. It's also a method I discussed before. And it's the one where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 2, and then you breathe out for 4 seconds, and again you hold your breath for 2 seconds. And then you do that cycle for how long it takes for you to become a little bit more relaxed. And then say you do it 10 times, and then after you continue to just breathe normally again, or let your body take over again. So again, I think it's a really nice exercise to calm down the nervous system, and it never hurts to try. Okay, and these were the tips that I think were very helpful for me, at least, in dealing with the panic attacks that I had. I hope you found it helpful, and maybe it's interesting. If you have any other tips on dealing with those panic attacks, then you can leave a comment down below. I think that would be really nice if we can help each other out. I hope I'll see you next time again. Bye!